Bear with me, friends.
This reminds me of the Sims music.
All right. We're live. We're officially live. And this time, no kid at school to be picked up. It's nothing stopping us. We can chit-chat for as long as we want. So thank you for joining us as we welcome you to the MMA Fighting UFC Vegas 14 post-fight show. I am Mike Heck. No fancy Fedor sweater tonight, but happy to be joined by the rest of the horsemen. Jose Youngs is here. E.Casey Leydon is here. A.K. Lee will be joining us, but he's not here quite yet. But
Coward.
Coward! Show your face, AK. Where are you, Candy Lee?
I don't know what's funnier, that image or the image of Shorty Torres' empty chair during Between the Lengths. Just amazing stuff. But we promised yesterday during the shortened preview show that we would make it up to you. So we're going to answer a lot of questions tonight, but we're going to talk about the main event first. Let's talk about Rafael dos Anjos. He got me all sorts of fired up with his walkout song, walking out to Kumite from the movie Bloodsport, A+ entrance song, taking on Paul Felder, who replaced Islam Makhachev on just 5 days' notice. The fight was grueling. It was fun. Both guys brought it. RDA was super impressive when the action went to the cage walls, and in the end, former champ gets back in the win column with a split decision, which is just ridiculous. I'm sorry. I love Paul Felder, but to score that fight for him is just absolutely ridiculous. But Jose, thoughts on that main event? RDA's return to 155 and a very successful one at that.
It looked like Rafael dos Anjos had been in a full fight camp, and Paul Felder had not walked into an MMA gym in 4 months, 4 weeks, whatever he said. So Paul Felder looked great offensively, especially in the early rounds. Like, he looked real crisp, looked quick and everything. But that just goes to show you that he's been doing kickboxing, Muay Thai so long that it's not hard for him to just get off the couch and get in a fight. But his defense just wasn't there. Like, he was getting hit a lot. He was getting tagged a lot with the end of RDA's strikes, and he couldn't stop the takedown. And he was holding his own on the ground, but his timing just wasn't there defensively. Offensively, it looks like he hadn't missed a beat, but I just don't think the timing was there to try and avoid any damage coming his way. But it is what it is. He took the fight on 5 days' notice, so don't hold it against him. It's pretty much, I thought RDA might get a finish at some point in the later rounds, especially if he took him down with one of those arm triangles, arm chokes that he's put so many fighters away with. But Paul Felder held him off, survived, lost. Should be a unanimous decision. I had it 5-0 RDA. I can see the argument for 4-1 Felder, but no, there's no way in the world Paul Felder won 3 of those rounds. I think even Paul Felder looked surprised when they read the scorecards. So yeah, RDA 5-0 on my scorecards.
Yeah, it was just one of those fights. Like, Felder had his moments. It looked like maybe the first and second round were kind of close, but then RDA just kind of took over with just that grueling, game plan that he always brings to the table. He looked fantastic tonight. Casey, you were on the preview show yesterday, and you predicted that this main event would be, quote, a 5-round snoozer. You could not have watched this fight tonight and thought, oh man, this fight sucks. Like, the fight was great, was it not? But all kidding aside, what did you think of it now that it's over?
I said a 5-round snoozer in the sense that it's going to be I thought it was going to be a dominant win, much like I thought it was going to be a RDA versus Anthony Pettis type performance, which I feel it pretty much was. I mean, it wasn't a snoozer. It was definitely fight of the night. It was actually more exciting than I thought it was going to be, but I felt if RDA wanted just to 100% use that wrestling, it could have been a snoozer. But I think RDA wanted, I think he wanted an action fight, and he got one. But I think he also is a very smart fighter, and he realized, if I do this all stand up, I may beat Mr. Felder. But I think if I use my wrestling, use my all that training I used to train for Islam. It was just a smart move by Mr. Dos Anjos. And look who we have here. Hold on. We have someone calling in right now. Who is this?
It's my best friend. Hey, buddy.
Oh. Thought I'd didn't think you'd have it set up. Thought I'd have to go through the. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. Welcome to the live post-fight show.
Oh, exciting.
Okay, well, back what I was saying. What was the question? No, it wasn't a snooze fest, but I think Jose actually said it. It looked like RDA on a full camp versus a very, very good striker with no camp who was training for a triathlon.
AK, welcome. And you were looking at this fight. I believe it was like almost like a similar comparison to like the Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier fight. Like there seemed to be sort of like you felt there's like kind of like a blatant disrespect towards RDA, but this is one of those like, don't you know who I am type of performances from Rafael dos Anjos. Like you said on this here channel that RDA heading into this fight, despite not being in this division over the last 4 years, was a top 5 lightweight in the world. Do you feel vindicated right now after tonight?
Of course I do. You guys all, Casey.
Me? What?
Casey laughed at me. Laughed at me when I said he was still top 5. I said I'd put him above Daniel Hooker. I said that's for me is like the kind of top 5, top 6. And I said I put RDA up there. Yeah, he looked great. I think Casey's right as well. Yeah, I mean it's literally what he described. It was a trained, very highly trained, well prepared fighter versus a guy who just admitted post fight that Paul Felder said that he hadn't been in an MMA gym in 4 months. And frankly, he didn't look that. I think he didn't look that bad. And if you heard Bisping on commentary, he was definitely bigging up his boy a lot. But yeah, there was a lot of truth in that. He actually did. He did look strong at moments tonight, especially in the stand-up. Of course, grappling was a whole other story. This is something we discussed on pre-fight show, right? Where it's when you're facing someone like RDA, it's not just about being in shape. It's his skill set is so diverse that if you're not drilling a lot of the things that he's strong at, not just the wrestling, but RDA kept catching him with that straight left hand. I mean, that's something that again you would catch, you would pick up on in training, and you would drill, not getting caught by that. Little things like that, and you only have 25 minutes to adapt. And I thought Felder did a great job for what it was, but. That grappling of RDA is on a whole other level. So yeah, I stand by it. I think he'll see a number back next to his name again this week when the rankings come out, and I think it'll be number 5.
Jose, Paul Felder had a great speech during his post-fight interview. He basically called out the fighters who missed weight, saying that, I haven't been in an MMA gym in 4 months. I still got on the scale. It sucked, but I got to 156. I did my job, and then I went in there and fought 5 rounds. But the more importantly than anything, he said that I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to fight. Are you surprised by this? Because it seemed like a lot of people felt this is going to be the swan song, win or lose for Paul Felder, and it seems that is not the case.
Well, I think I said it on the preview show. If he did lose, I think it would be a matter of how he would lose would determine if he sticks around or not. If he goes 5 rounds and it's a close fight, or if he looks any sort of competitive and doesn't get finished, he'll probably come back just because he is the type of competitor that he is. But the fact, if he had just gone out there and what happened to Khaos Williams' opponent happened to Paul Felder, you probably wouldn't be fighting again, just because it was like a litmus test for himself to see if he could hang in there. He lasted all 5 rounds, so no, it doesn't surprise me that he wants to come back. He was super fired up. He didn't look like you said, like we all said, 5 days notice, and he was actually competitive against a former champion. So no, I'm not even remotely surprised that Paul Felder's coming back. With the addition of Michael Chandler in the division, Paul Felder I don't want to say coming out of retirement, but confirming that he's not heading off into the sunset. Lightweight, I know everyone talks about bantamweight, women's strawweight, men's welterweight, and all this stuff, but I have been saying the lightweight division is the best division in the UFC, and I just think that these additions to the top 10 just reaffirms it in my mind.
Well said. AK, we're going to save our fight predictions for on to the next one. But Casey, if you are the UFC, if you are the one with the book right now, what do you do next with RDA after tonight's victory?
Makhachev. It's like that guy still. I mean, is he still? I mean, we don't know how it was a staph. They said staph infection. Was that what it was? It wasn't the Rona, right? Staph infection. So
Yeah.
which also could be a week, and it could be 6 months. I mean, guys have staph infections can be really bad, so we just don't know. Assuming Makhachev isn't available. Actually, that's the thing with RDA. Like that's always kind of been the problem with RDA. There's no real storyline with him. It's just like, yeah, it's like he's good and he's a high level fighter. So I think any fight's really good. I can't Hooker. I don't know anyone. It's like I don't think there's really a particular. Oh, I gotta see RDA fight this guy. That's kind of that's actually kind of a problem as far as like the UFC building him. There's no like urgency to see RDA fight a certain guy, to me at least. So that was a very non-answer for you.
Well, I think just I'm gonna base mine off of what do you call it? Process of elimination. So I'm assuming Poirier and Conor are gonna fight in January. I'm assuming Tony and Chandler are gonna fight either December, January, February, whatever you want. So process by elimination, and I'm assuming he's not gonna fight Khabib. Because he already lost him, he's not anywhere near the title. I wouldn't mind Rafael dos Anjos versus Justin Gaethje. I think that's an absolutely awesome scrap for both men. I mean, Gaethje has had beef with Paul Felder in the past. If Paul Felder had won, I think that's the fight I would have wanted the most. So in my mind, I'm just going to replace him with Rafael dos Anjos, or the Dan Hooker fight. That's an awesome fight. The Charles Oliveira fight's an awesome fight. Again, Rafael dos Anjos. Because when he left the lightweight division, yes, there were a lot of these guys in the top 10, top 5, but right now, I think it's the best it's been in a long time in terms of competitiveness. Anyone in that top 5 outside of Khabib, if he does retire, could be the champion. So my answer would be Gaethje or Hooker, but selfishly, I would want the Justin Gaethje fight because that's just a violent scrap between two guys who just continuously move forward.
I like it. It's definitely something to think about. The bonuses for the night have come out. Fight of the night, Rafael dos Anjos versus Paul Felder. I don't think anybody's really surprised by that, but if you're Kay Hansen and Corey McKenna, you're probably like, oh, you got to be kidding me right now. And then the performances of the night, pretty obvious. Khaos Williams is getting one of those 50G bonuses. And then Sean Strickland with a wonderful performance against a really tough guy in Brendan Allen. He gets it done. He gets an extra 50 Gs, 2 wins over a 14-day stretch for him. So pretty good night. So at this point, I mean, we talked about the main event, but we owe the listeners some time. We owe the listeners some questions after yesterday because we were kind of pressed for time. So let's go to the peeps. Let's go to the peeps and see what they have to say. We can talk this card. We can talk a potpourri of different MMA topics.
While Casey digs this up, I just want to say, like you said, Mike, we'll wait till our show, the next couple of days to do our official, like, who should he fight next. But I do think one thing that makes it so difficult for him is that he is willing to fight anyone. I mean, he has that reputation. So I think it was a lot of people. I think Luke Thomas, one of them, was tweeting out like, sort of, oh, here's the last like 10 guys that RDA is fighting. It's an insane list of people for someone to fight and like not. And I mean, he's got title shots in there, so it's not like he was only getting tough competition and not being rewarded for it. He's been rewarded accordingly, but yeah, he's just fought a murderer's row his entire career. He hasn't had an easy fight in forever, and he'll fight anyone, and the UFC knows that. So unfortunately, that kind of makes it difficult to fantasy matchmake because he won't say no.
Andrew Nally asks, am I the only one who thinks Khaos Williams versus Nico Price would be crazy? Of course, that would be crazy, right? What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Jose?
Only one.
I like the fight as a fight, but I think like Nico is at that point where he should be fighting. Like he just fought Donald Cerrone, he just fought Vicente Luque. Like I really like Khaos Williams as a fighter a lot, and I like Nico Price a lot. There are just other names I would choose Khaos Williams to fight first before he gets Nico Price. Like again, but if they make that fight, I'm not going to complain. That fight is awesome. I just think it might be a step back in terms of name value for Nico Price. And yeah, I know Khaos Williams is the big guy right now, and we joked that he should be the Hamza, and he could be the fighter of the year if he gets one more and fine, but he's not that right now. There's a lot of what ifs. Like could he?
I'm really interested.
Right now,
why is Dana selling him like that? Yeah,
because it's Dana White. It's at 8:15 p.m. Arizona time. That is not what Khaos Williams is. I would like to see Khaos Williams fight Lizette or Lizez Munir. Is that his name? I can't ever pronounce his name. I would like to see that fight, considering they're the last two guys to beat Abdul. I can't pronounce this guy's name either.
Razak.
The last two guys to beat Razak. I know Sean Brady broke his nose, so I wanted that fight, but that fight's not going to happen. The Bilal Muhammad fight I like too, just so if you want to slot him in against Bilal Muhammad or Michel Pereira. I know Alex always wants to bring him up. Any of those fights I'm down for, but Nico Price I think it would be a step back in terms of name value, but I like the Lizez fight considering they're both coming off really impressive wins over the same opponent. And Lizez was supposed to fight on the Fight Island card before he was pulled for testing positive for COVID. So if they are going back to Fight Island in January, February, March, and Lizez wants to stay on that card, I think that's a fight that I would be very interested in.
It's interesting. Yeah, we were talking before we hit record about, comparing Khaos to Khamzat, because I mean Khamzat has to be brought up on all of these shows at least once. But I mean, look, just look at the resume right now.
Done.
Look at the UFC resume. Khaos Williams has fought twice in a total of 57 seconds, and he's knocked out Alex Murata, who just had, I believe, his 11th or 12th
Who
UFC
just
appearance
beat
tonight.
the guy that Khamzat beat. So naturally he's getting the welterweight title shot.
Move over, Leon Edwards. You're back. You're unranked again. You're unranked, Leon Edwards. You're out.
Maybe. Hey, listen.
Like,
there
guys.
is a lockdown in the UK right now. You never know. Maybe they thrust Khaos into that spot. I know.
Is there such
I
a
don't
thing
think it's
as-
gonna happen.
Is there
Alex
such thing as a
Murata.
non-crazy Nico Price fight? Like you kind of Price. I'm just looking at it, it's like
kind of
he hasn't had a
redundant.
non-crazy fight in like ever. I'm looking at his entire career. I don't think he's had a non-crazy fight. Nico Price fights start at crazy, and then you work. I mean, you have the potential to work back from there. Usually they start at crazy and escalate from crazy. So Chaos, would be perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better matchup. So Andrew Nally, you are correct. No, sorry, you're wrong. You're not the only one. I'm pretty sure all of us are thinking Nico Price versus Khaos Williams or anyone is a crazy fight.
That would be a crazy fight. RDA versus Chandler, similar size and good first test for Michael Chandler. Jose, what do you think about RDA versus Michael Chandler possibility?
I love that fight. I absolutely love that fight. I just don't think – I think Michael Chandler is going to fight Tony Ferguson, considering Michael Chandler wants a big name, and he wants to fight Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson, it's like any time the UFC can get Tony Ferguson into the octagon and any sort of happy is a win, because it seems like him and the UFC are always at odds. So if Tony Ferguson is asking for Michael Chandler, I imagine that's what the UFC is going to do. But say Michael Chandler or say Tony Ferguson gets hurt or whatever, trips on another cord, and Rafael dos Anjos decides to back up his own words and say, I'm always ready, I'll fight, and they throw in RDA versus Michael Chandler, I'm not going to complain.
I like the matchup. I just wish, good on RDA for calling out Chandler, trying to be opportunistic.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what
We
you gotta do.
knew
That's
that
what you
wasn't going to
gotta do.
happen.
No,
You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly, planting the seeds for down. Like I said, if Tony Ferguson can't make it, because we all know Tony Ferguson, there's no guarantee he's going to make it into the octagon if he signs a contract. So if RDA stays ready and backs up his words, and he goes, look, you turned me down because you weren't going to be ready, but now I'm ready to fight you on short notice. And Michael Chandler can't turn that down after that, at that point. So he's already in camp and all that. So if RDA is going to be on standby for a possible Michael Chandler fight, awesome. I'm all in.
Do you think the UFC wants that fight though?
I don't know. I think at this point, it's hard to say. I don't know. Who would, if Michael Chandler gets a main event and they need someone to fight, I don't know where, Fight Island or the co-main. I'm assuming it's going to be 5 rounds, or a co-main event. What lightweight would be ready to go? I don't think Dan Hooker is going to get to the United States if it's in the United States, because I don't think he wants to go through all that again on short notice. Charles Oliveira maybe, but is he in Brazil too? So I don't know. I'm just doing process by elimination. Yeah, RDA had his whole camp in Brazil too. So if it's the next man up, so be it. But if Dos Anjos is the next highest ranked person available and Michael Chandler really wants to fight on the specific date he signed for, I think the UFC would be fine with it. But again, who knows with the UFC?
Yeah, I would like to see the fight. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm with you. The UFC has been promotionally pushing Michael Chandler pretty hard. He got his own promotional package. He got his own interview at UFC 254. I know he's the backup fighter and all that stuff. So maybe they're just like giving him some props for that. But I mean, this is a big deal. They think Chandler's a big deal signing for them. So I think it will end up being the Ferguson fight. Ferguson made that video that you could see on MMAfighting.com calling out Chandler for December 12th. And after losing 2 main events, you still get a really good title fight between Aljamain Sterling or Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling, champion first, pal. But you throw that as a co-main event, that's awesome. You're getting a bunch of pay-per-view buys for that one. That's a good little appetizer for the title fight. AK, your thoughts on all of this?
RDA Chandler would be a hell of a consolation prize to some of the other, Chandler matchups that have been out there. 4 years ago, I mean, this would have been a dream fight, right? I think, that's when RDA was champion, or maybe he's coming to the end of his championship run, and Chandler was in the middle of one of his championship runs. So that's really the beauty of MMA, isn't it? And kind of also what keeps the UFC, why they're number one, for all of its many flaws, is that they can still produce matchups like this, which even 4 years later, I think you put those two down on paper. Again, it's maybe not the top fight that Chandler would want right now, but man, Chandler and RDA, you're getting a lot of fan interest there. Yeah, maybe not a main event, probably a fight night main event if you want to roll that out. But otherwise, yeah, really high profile pay-per-view co-main event. Man, that's a fun fight. So yeah, I'm all for it. 2 good suggestions so far. Well done, comments. Well done.
Zero chance.
I might steal some of these.
Zero chance. Zero chance it happens. Zero chance.
There's no
minus injuries or people popping for the Rona.
Right,
but
yeah.
outside of an official signed full camp fight, zero chance.
It won't be the original booking as well.
Yeah.
There's no chance that it's the original booking. Yeah.
There's no chance that's the fight they try to make. If this is only going to come down to it's going to be like a Nate Diaz situation where he's like, I'll fight on 11 days notice.
So being MMA, it's like a 98% chance that it happens.
Yeah, so it's definitely happening then.
Okay.
It's gonna be the main event next week.
If they book Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson, the main event we're gonna end up getting is Dan Hooker versus Paul Felder, 2 replacement fighters.
Yeah.
What's next for Felder, Jose? Is the question here.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
Running,
The
swimming,
Gaethje
and
fight,
biking.
if the Gaethje fight wouldn't be bad, if they're both coming off losses and there is some sort of history there, I wouldn't. Obviously, if my absolute first choice would be Edson Barboza to move back up and we get the trilogy fight, but that's not going to happen with Barboza at featherweight now. Charles Oliveira, he's already fought and beat. That's tough, man. I feel like we have to have a lot of these fights play out before we can fantasy matchmake Paul Felder. Like right now at 8:23 p.m. Arizona time, I don't think there's any clear-cut person for Paul Felder to fight next.
They got Arizona not respecting daylight savings. What's up with that?
Yeah, because we're the 48th state, bro. We were like, we're the last state in the continental United States to be founded. So of course we're not going to fall for this skullduggery that is.
What about the farmers?
savings.
What about the farmers? Jeez.
What about him, Casey? What about him?
You said the time in Arizona with such like I don't know. There was a tone I did not like about the way
Ben
you said
Franklin
the time.
can kick. Who invented daylight savings time? Ben Franklin, was he the one that proposed it? Kick rocks, Ben Franklin.
All right.
The only name that I can see. The only name that I can see that's unassigned that Felder might consider fighting, if only because he's still got a bit of a name, and I think it'd be a bit of a wait. It'll probably be till next year when we see this guy again. We don't know exactly where he is, but Ali Akinta might be the only fight. Again,
I think that would be a fight because I remember Paul Felder giving an interview saying he was like naming a few names that might get him interested, and Al was one of those names.
Yeah,
so I forgot about Al.
Yeah, I think he's definitely aiming higher than that. But as far as unassigned name, like people he wouldn't have to wait for, and they could start like talking about it now, or waiting for whenever Iaquinta's. I'm not sure what he's out for, but whenever he's ready to fight again, like you could start those. You could start those talks and negotiations this week, right? And set something for January, February, March. I don't know.
I interviewed Felder right before the first Fight Island trip, and he said that he was offered Ali Quinta, and he turned it down because it wasn't a big enough fight for him at the time to get him back into it. But maybe now that he seems to be fired up about it, I like that matchup. Spoiler, that's probably going to be my pick for on to the next one, unless I have this epiphany tomorrow morning. But we'll see.
I'm not against a rematch with Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira is a different fighter now. Not a different fighter, but I think he's a better, more mature fighter. I don't know if Paul would take that. But
Yeah, that's
Oliveira
most
would
like
take
if
it.
I would absolutely love that fight, and I know like Oliveira would take it. I was more viewing it as a
I understand.
Paul
Yeah,
Felder
yeah.
might
I
not.
just
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I
I
just think
freaking love that fight.
yeah. I just want I just want to see Charles Oliveira back. I'm tired of like what happened then? I just want to see him back. We need to see more
I
Charles
agree.
Oliveira. All right. Oh.
Well, Conor McGregor already tweeted after he gets done with Dustin, he wants to fight RDA.
Really?
Yeah, he just tweeted. He said, "Dustin first, but I'm down for it all. Throwback to this classic. Look at Dana, ha ha ha. Vintage MMA entertainment, El Chapo, and it's a photo of him posing like El Chapo.
Oh, there we go.
And that is verbatim what he tweeted.
Fantastic stuff.
Do you guys know what rounds that judge gave to Felder? Oh, do you have it, AK?
Oh, well, let me find.
I can bring it up. I can pop it up 1 second.
Yeah, bring it up. I have to see this ridiculousness.
I'll say it as Casey's pulling up. He gave the middle 3, 2, 3, and 4 for Felder.
That's insane.
Okay.
Now let's all right. Now let's look at the striking numbers.
3
here.
is the
So,
weird one. Stop doing striking numbers. This is MMA, man.
I'm just
Striking
saying.
numbers.
Well, I'll say this: the stats they showed at the screen were apparently not even close to accurate. I think the stats
They're-
they showed at the screen were like, it was like Felder had more than 30 more significant strikes
Those
than
stats
RDA,
were-
which seems impossible.
Michael Bisping were doing those stats. Those were not real stats. That was Michael Bisping stats.
Here are the UFCstats.com stats, which are much more accurate, which you usually put up after. Very, very close to significant strikes. 98 total significant strikes for Felder, 92 for Dos Anjos, and then you add in the takedowns and control time. It's not even close. So, I could see maybe giving a round to Felder. I would have had it 50-45 Dos Anjos. But 3 rounds by my brother, Chris Lee. I mean, my brother's name actually is Chris Lee, by the way. But that he's not an MMA judge, I assure you. But I always joke he's my brother. But yes, Chris Lee, you should be embarrassed. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible score. You should have to explain and he should have to. Sal D'Amato had one of these earlier tonight as well. And you guys should have to explain yourselves before you are allowed to coach to be booked for another fight. That's horrible.
Got him.
So our good friend and Between the Links panelist in the past, Aaron Bronstetter, tweeted out, Judge Chris Lee, who scored the main event for Paul Felder, has been involved in 10 UFC/Bellator split decisions in 2020 and was the dissenting judge in 7 of those 10.
That's not good.
Yeah,
That's not good.
That's a pattern.
I tweeted that was worse. That was worse than the 27-26 Yoder. At least that one got the right winner. You know.
Dude,
I couldn't believe it.
I wish I was at this card. So it'd be like Dana. Fix this.
Fix
There was
this.
there was a
Big
lot
if
going
true.
on in the cards tonight. A lot going on in the cards.
I love when I watch boxing events and before the main event happens, they go over the judges and what controversial or significant decisions they've made. I think that's a fantastic thing boxing does, and I've never seen it done in MMA. I don't understand.
Remember when they used to show MMA judges' faces on the broadcast?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
they used to introduce them? Like, make that happen. So if I'm out getting a coffee and I see so-and-so judge, I can walk up to him and grab him by the shoulders and be like, what are you looking at? Stop buying coffee and go watch tape, and then I can let him go.
Are any of us
That's probably
against,
why they don't show their faces.
Are any of us against that? We
Coward.
don't need to show their faces, maybe, but I would like a discussion on the judges who are calling, especially the main event. It's like, are there any are people like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't get it. Every time I watch boxing, I think it's wonderful, and yeah.
Because Casey,
I know
you know why.
Yeah, I know why. Thank
You know
you.
why, Casey? Because it makes too much sense, and MMA is a silly sport.
You call
I
it
don't
a
know,
sport.
Casey. I don't know if are you gonna bring up a question about the Hansen McKenna fight?
We can just talk about it.
Yeah, it's worth discussing. I didn't think it was a horrible scorecard.
Lead us into it. Tell what happened.
Well, it was a really close fight between two 21-year-old prospects. I actually think it was a better fight than the main event. I actually would have given them the fight of the night. With respect to Felder and Dos Anjos, I thought it was a great fight.
Hot take.
But McKenna won unanimous decision, 29-28. So very close rounds, very close scorecards. And I saw a lot of people right away calling robbery. I did not think so, though I had scored the fight 29-28 for Hansen myself. But it was very close. And MMA decisions, I believe only 2 media members scored the fight for McKenna. and then the other, I'm not sure how many it is, 14, something like that. 14 people scored it for Hansen. So there was a lot of dissension there as well. Now the scores, so the stats are interesting here. So Hansen did have more significant strikes, 67 to 57, which is actually a pretty good amount. I think anytime you outstrike someone significantly by double digits, pretty good, not overwhelming. Total strikes, well, you go round by round, that makes a difference as well. But total strikes, McKenna 156, Hansen 87. So yes, I mean, when we're counting total strikes, we're counting a lot of pitter patter, little shots to the body, things like that. But I think when you get outlanded that much, even in total strikes, I don't know if you can make an argument for a robbery. It clearly means that the fighter who won the supposed robbery was doing something. So very close fight. I think Hansen won, but certainly not a robbery.
What round was the swing round? Is it round 1? Is that the round that people are, round 3 was pretty clearly.
Oh, I think it was all over.
All three judges
the
gave
judges score it.
All 3 judges gave 1 and 2. Yeah, I think all 3 judges gave the first and second round to McKenna and gave the third round to Hansen, which is weird because it seemed like
I'm totally forgetting the fight now. I thought it was the other way.
Let me check this. Hold on.
Right, that's the thing.
Discuss the fight amongst yourselves.
It seemed like everybody gave the third round to McKenna.
Yeah, I thought the third round was. I thought the third round was a dominant round. I thought the second round was Hansen. Third round was pretty clear McKenna. I thought it was the first.
I thought the first round was definitely Hansen. Took her back, beat her up a little bit on the feet.
I might be forgetting it.
Almost finished her third round too.
Was the first round when she got her back when she was just holding her back and McKenna was just punching her a whole bunch of times, or was that the second round?
That was first round.
So that's why I can see. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it because Hansen just held on and got her back, and I was like, all right, what are you gonna do now? And then she wasn't doing anything for a while, and McKenna was just punching her a whole bunch, and even she, like, looking at her, she looked surprised, like, why is this so easy right now? Why am I punching and she's not blocking or moving to the next step? Because even the commentators were like, I guess that's doing something. Like, I get it. Like, McKenna got to the dominant position, and Hansen got to the dominant position and then just like stopped for like 10 seconds. And then McKenna was just like, all right, let's keep punching you until you do something. So I get it, but I don't agree with it. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. It was all 2 judges agreed, scored it the same way. First 2 rounds for McKenna, last round for Hansen. My beef with as cool as it was with McKenna, like controlling both of, and again, this is something Hansen I think is going to kick herself for later. Getting both of her arms controlled by one of McKenna's arms. It was actually really impressive by McKenna, and something again Hansen will probably be upset about when she watched the footage. But those punches she was landing, they were clean, but none of them were more impactful than the knee to the head that Hansen had landed moments earlier. So for me, that knee to the head is really what made the difference in that round and why it should have gone to Hansen. But I don't know. For whatever reason, the judges, I guess they thought those little punches in the ground at the end did more. They were certainly counted in total strikes. I'm pretty we're not counted as significant strikes. So that's why I disagree. But again, like we kind of just reasoned, you can kind of see why it happened. So sorry, people, you will not be seeing a robbery review this week. We'll have a very special robbery review. I will have a very special robbery review on Monday for people, a retro one. So I look forward to that. But no, I think McKenna fought a great fight, and Hansen fought a great fight as well. And I don't think either way it could have been too wrong of a call.
More important, who's going to watch Chick Fight, the movie now?
That it never came up again, right? The graphic never came up again. I don't know.
That was so...
Yeah, because they blew it and introduced it during the women's fight.
It was so weird. And it said Chick Fight the whole time. I was like,
that was awkward. And they didn't run the promo for the movie until after, right? If they'd run it before,
not only did they wait to run it until after, when they were waiting for the judges' scorecards, and they're both standing there just beat up and bloody in the middle. And you know how it says their names at the bottom? In the middle of it, you know how it usually says like corn nuts or Monster Energy. It was like decision. Chick Fight. So if you just tuned in, you were probably under the assumption that the UFC was reminding you that 2 girls just fought.
Yeah, and it's this gaudy, like pink, bouncy, rectangular graphic.
It's one of those
neon pink.
It's like one of those movies you order at the grocery store in the red box. You know, it's like, oh.
Leslie Smith was not impressed.
She was all over it, and she wasn't wrong. I thought it was somewhat innocuous because I'm like, okay, as long as it comes back through the rest of the night, as long as it's sponsoring all the fights, then fine. It never came up again. Whoops.
I had I had a friend coming over watching the fights, and she doesn't watch fights, and I was just like, I apologize. I'm just like, I apologize.
I apologize on behalf of UFC, on behalf of MMA, on behalf of the chick fight film, men in general,
The human species. My bad.
So much disappointment. So much disappointment.
All right.
I scored that fight 30-27 for Hansen.
I know you did. You were demanding. You were yelling at me on Slack, demanding a robbery review, and I said no. The
judges cost me a perfect fight card again.
That's totally
Second week in a row.
And again, I think you're
Second
right.
week in a row.
I do think Hansen won. If I'm being honest. But you should really blame Tanner Bozer, not just the judges.
You gotta pick who you think is gonna play. If I see a fighter I know, like if I see anyone fight Dennis Bermudez, I'm like, Dennis Bermudez is probably gonna win, but he's going to lose in the end because that's just he loses every single split decision. So if I see Dennis Bermudez, he's gonna lose a split decision. So that's how you got to don't pick who you think is going to win an actual fist fight because this isn't Pride, this is the UFC, and split decisions never go to the right person unless your name is Rafael dos Anjos.
No, Mike, you've got to be like me and just never even come close to getting a perfect card. That's the problem. It's hurting you too much because you're off by one. When you're off by like 3 or 4 every week, you don't care. You're breezy.
You were the new Guillermo Cruz.
My son was like coming up and down and watching like a lot of the fights with me, and at the end I was like, so what was like your favorite part? What stuck out to you? And he goes the yellow-haired girl had her hair in her face, she needs to get a haircut or something.
Not wrong.
The pink scrunchie. I've never seen a fighter at this level not braid their hair or anything. I was like, is she just fighting in a ponytail? I was like, all right.
She is
the one thing he noticed out of everything tonight was that her hair is in her face.
Hansen and McKenna are talents, though. Like, how messed up is it that they look more advanced than Granger and Yoder? With respect to Granger and Yoder, if you asked me who's been fighting for whatever, for I don't know, like 4 years, or who has twice the amount of experience as these two girls, I would have thought it was the other way around. I would have thought that Hansen and McKenna were the more experienced fighters. So. Very impressive from those two. I hope they get some sort of bonus.
Unfortunately for Yoder and Granger, there's always that one fight on the card. You gotta go, why is that so high on the card?
That was supposed to be.
It wasn't?
Right? It's not their fault that was one of the cards that was bumped.
No, you can't blame them.
I don't blame them. I'm just we can't blame them, but I was just wondering, like, what did they? I don't know. Let's talk about the other chick fight.
Well,
I knew there was going to be something. I knew
Kanaka Murata fan number 1.
Hell yeah, dude.
Casey, after you.
Wrestling. I am just extremely bummed out that Kanako just looks so normal. Because I don't know if you've seen her on Ryzen. She has big colorful outfits. She wears a singlet. And she just kind of looked like she was just, I don't know, like whatever that fell off the Reebok rack. That's what she was wearing. So I was just bummed we didn't get to see her very unique personality. But
that's what the UFC does. Drains the color, drains the fire right out of a fighter's personality, right?
Yeah. So, I'm just excited to see another got a good wrestler in the strawweight division, and I'm worried about her size though. She is a small strawweight. That's always gonna be a bummer. But she got her in her little Hulk arms. I was just great job by her.
That was
you see her back, her back muscles when she was going for takedowns. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's like she is a beast.
Match her up with Tisha Torres at some point. You want to battle of the physiques, my goodness. But she looked good, and I think Ronda Markos really, even though it wasn't her originally scheduled opponent, was a really good test for her. I mean, she was stuffing some down. She was forced to battle on some scrambles and really just kind of show off her Hulk-like strength. Like some of those scrambles, she just went through brute force, Just it was like they would be kind of locked in position for like a second, and you just see Murata just flex and just like, all right, now I'm on top. I'm taking control. So she was as advertised as far as being an elite wrestler, a really high-level athlete, tough as nails, and Markos. I said on like the previous show, I feel like a loss gets her release, even though she took this on short notice and did the UFC a favor. I kind of still feel that way. I really do. I don't know how they're going to go with it. They shouldn't. Cruel. Obviously, they shouldn't. I know. Obviously, they shouldn't. But I do feel like the UFC is going this direction where we're seeing that a lot more young talent being utilized, young cheaper talent being utilized. So keeping around a veteran like Markos, who I know she's not exactly making 6 figures a fight or whatever, but if it's a choice between paying her or paying a Contender Series winner or something like that, someone's going to get cut. And we've seen they've been making some cuts recently. She's a veteran. I think they like her. I just wonder if maybe this was their sign. Well, she now lost 3 straight for the first time in the UFC, where they say maybe they're going to cut ties. I hope not, though. Of course, I hope not. I hope Markos gets another shot.
And I think
Yeah, she also took the fight on short notice. I think the last 3 fights she's taken is on short notice.
Miranda Granger versus Randa Markos. Loser leaves town. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh.
we're good.
Miranda
I like
Granger's
it.
got a win in the UFC.
What?
Miranda Granger's 1-1 in the UFC. That was her first UFC loss. Can't do her like that.
Miranda Granger? She's on a
No,
2-fight
her
losing
second.
streak.
She
No.
lost to
She lost
she
tonight.
lost to
She's
Amanda
lost
Lemos.
2 in a row. She has lost 2 in a row.
That is not too.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, because
Yeah.
the Hannah Goldie fight was the first one that she won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Correct.
She did lose to Lemos.
Yeah,
I thought all of her fights up until that point just kept getting canceled.
Yeah,
So there you go. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So what do we
There
do?
you go.
So what do we
That's a
do?
wrap, Jack.
So what do we do? Murata versus Yoder now? We just like mix and match the two winners.
Nah,
versus
Murato's
winners?
way higher than Yoder. I think you give Murata some Murata.
There's like the problem is she's so good, and the diehards know how good she is. And there's so many fights I want to see her take, but she's not going to get them yet just because she's so new. So she's going to have to work her way up to these fights that I really want to see. Like I would love to see her fight Dern, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. She has to work her way up there. So I don't know off the top of my head who she could fight next.
I know we're not gonna see it, but
Felicia Herrig, maybe?
I don't care. I think she's ready. I want to see her versus Esparza. I love wrestler versus wrestler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good fight too.
2 invicted champs.
Felicia Herrig would be
Invicted
good
champs.
too.
Respect the belt. Oh yeah, Felice Herring. You're right.
Felice Herrig would be a good one because she seems to get the we're gonna see how these prospects are gonna do, and Felice Herrig is Carlos Esparza's best friend, so she beats Felice Herrig. Not only do you have a wrestler versus wrestler, you got a storyline, and that's what we want.
Beep boo boo.
Boom!
I
Did
just
your job spoil
wanna
you?
I want to point out how crazy it is that Yoder almost had the first. She had the first 30-24, I think, in strawweight UFC strawweight history against Ciori, and then almost had the first 27-26 today. Before, well, I mean, technically did have the first 27-26 before. Thankfully, that mix-up was. People are saying.
Wait, 27-26. What are you talking about? That was the score.
The buffer. That was originally the announced score.
That's what they
You didn't-
incorrectly
yeah,
announced.
you didn't-
I
yeah.
didn't even listen to the
Yeah.
score. Sorry. I was like,
Okay,
what?
they announced 30-26 Yoder, 29-27 Yoder, and then 27-26 Yoder, which was bizarre. So people are saying it had to be Bruce Buffer's fault, but I mean, he doesn't add up the scores like on the spot, and it could just be he had a total brain fart and did. But
How many times has
Bruce
he done this?
Yeah. Bruce Buffer is normally a pro where I think it was it the Woodley Thompson fight maybe where they had like the first one where they had like incorrectly had a decision. He looked at it and he brought it back to the judges table and be like, this is wrong. So like I think they were going to announce that Woodley was the champ and then he's like, no, this is a majority draw. Like, no, fix that. So I think Buffer is a pro. I don't think if he did make a mistake, it was complete like on the fly accident.
yeah, I feel like
I don't think he did the
based on what we
I don't
saw
think
from the
he's the
judges
one that
today.
looked at it. Yeah.
Based on what we saw from the judges today, I feel like one of the judges wrote down the wrong score. I'm just saying. I feel like somehow maybe their handwriting was a little shaky. I'm not sure, but 27-26 would be a huge mistake. But good job, Ashley Yoder, for making history. First 30-24 and first 27-26 in the UFC strawweight division.
A lot of matchmaking ideas tonight. Ryan wants to see Sean Strickland versus Edmund Shabazian.
It's spoiling our show.
I can't answer these questions right now. I can't answer.
Legally,
Jose,
we cannot answer these questions right now.
we signed a contract that we have to save our
We have
predictions.
signed
And our,
contract. We've already breached
We've
it
signed
several times
contract.
tonight. We're in trouble. Mike, we're in
I
trouble.
know we can't get them all away.
I would
What
say.
What do you think about that, Jose?
I feel like Shabazian's in the top 15 already, top 11.
He was
Strickland
he,
is 2-0.
he was
I don't know.
he was in top 10. Got whooped up by Brunson, and then right.
Yeah.
Brunson, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been kind of radio silent since then.
Yeah, well, he's been doing a lot with the Armenian war going on right now. He's been kind of marching a lot. Who did Bevan Lewis just lose to?
Trevin Giles.
Make that fight. Giles
I like
versus
it.
Strickland.
Josh Strickland.
Because Shabazian's in the top 11. I don't think he wants to fight anyone outside the top 15 right now. And Ian Hines is sitting there at 15. So I don't think that form is enough to get Strickland in the top 15.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Not only does Shabazian, like I said, he actually has a ranking. I think Strickland is too much for him. Right? From what I've seen from Strickland in the last two fights, I think Strickland's too much for him. Strickland has looked incredible, and I would remind people he is technically 4-0, competing higher than welterweight. I mean, I would consider tonight essentially a middleweight bout.
How Strickland look better than Shabazian?
Well,
remember Shabazian?
Israel Adesanya fought Brad Tavares to a 5-round dominant decision, and Edmund Shabazian put him away in less than 3 minutes.
And even Strickland's last opponent, I forget his name already, the guy who was yelling at the fall.
Like Jack Marshman?
He whooped him. He whooped him.
Shabazian beat him like in like 2 blinks.
In like 2 minutes, he beat him.
So you're crazy, AK.
The guy was out for 2 years.
This is some,
and he's just gotten better. Come on,
yeah,
man.
he got better.
He was literally a fetus in that fight. He's a grown man now.
Look, Strickland, I don't know what his grappling's like. Maybe he could have taken Marshman down, submit him. I'm not gonna take anything away from Shabazian either because he did it.
It sounds like he did already.
Finished. No, I'm not. But I'm just saying that the three round beating that Strickland put on Marshman was not that much less impressive. He whooped his ass. He beat. He just couldn't finish him. But I mean, maybe Marshman's really tough to finish with the striking. I don't know.
Marshman
wasn't that tough for Shabazian?
Marshman also missed weight in that.
Marshman
also missed weight going into that fight, so I don't like. Who knows what his weight cut situation was entering that fight? Sure. But he didn't get put away, and he got tapped by Shabazian in less than 2 minutes.
I think Strickland is real tough. I think Strickland.
He's going to be. He's tough to matchmake for right now. Man.
He's real tough.
He's obviously very good. He's obviously very good. So
he's done with freaking him. Who's his last 2 losses to? Was it Dos Santos and Usman? Like he's unbelievable. I just don't think you're gonna toss him to Shabazian and favor him right away at a weight class he's only 2-0 at right now.
He's done with welter. Well, I'd say 4-0 counting this one as a middleweight. I count this as a middleweight bout, so he's 4-0.
It's because
he's
up to him.
He twice previously fought a middleweight, but he's probably can't go to 170. I guess he looks huge. He's huge. I don't think he should try.
Yeah,
he's done. Okay.
I think Brendan Allen, in my opinion, was like number 16 or 17 in that division heading into.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, you have to give him a top 15 guy at some point. So not to spoil the party or anything, but
whoa!
I think the most
contracts, Mike. Our contracts.
I'm just gonna say it.
I will mute you. I will mute you. I have the power.
The guy's coming off a loss, unfortunately, but I still believe he's in the top 15. Omari Akhmedov. I think that's the fight to make.
Sure.
I mean, that's it.
Sean Strickland? For Strickland?
Yeah, that's the fight.
Cool. Why not?
Unless you give him Chris Weidman. I mean, those are literally the only 2 options. Or Uriah Hall. And Uriah Hall probably deserves something a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
People, please tune in to August.
Wasn't Akhmedov just booked to fight? Wasn't Akhmedov just supposed to fight Vettori before catching COVID or something like that? Or was it COVID? Or was it injured? So why wouldn't they just rebook Akhmedov and Vettori? Or who's Vettori fighting now? Jacare?
Weidman.
Fighting Jacare.
Sorry.
Okay.
Weidman doesn't have a fight, right?
Yeah, Weidman
does not have a fight.
All right. Actually, I want to answer. I don't actually know the answer to this. If someone can catch me up on the news.
All right, what happened to Quinones versus Smolka and Anders versus Ahoyo? I know more about the Smolka situation. Smolka got sick. He got sick today. Some nausea, some vomiting. He just couldn't fight.
He missed weight, correct, on Friday, too.
Yes, he missed weight by 3 pounds. Anders missed weight by 1.5 pounds. So both fighters missed weight, and both were the reasons that their fight fell through. As Mike mentioned, illness for Smolka, and Anders actually was hospitalized. I don't know if Smolka also went to the hospital, but Anders had to go to the hospital. He sent out a message after. He said he's fine, but it sounds like it has something to do with of course, a tough weight cut. Smolka possibly as well, or it's possibly Smolka had an illness and which is why he couldn't make weight. That I would find believable because he shouldn't have problems making 135. He used to compete at flyweight, has never had problems making 135 in the past. So I would think that's more of the illness first, and that's why he couldn't make it. And there's, I think, maybe the other way around, but I'm not sure. It could be an excuse for both guys. But yeah, so that's what happened there. One guy illness, one guy hospitalized. And we also had a fight, Safarov and who's Safarov supposed to fight? Safarov and... my brain is broken.
With 3 fights?
Why did I bring this up?
Were 3 fights lost the week of?
Marquez was supposed to finally get a fight after 2 years, and Safarov had weight management issues according to the UFC. So that's 3 fights that were canceled, possibly due to weight cutting issues in the last 48 hours. So extreme weight cutting, it sucks.
Yeah, and I'm pretty weren't all these fights outside the main event essentially short notice fights? I feel like assuming give him 2 months is Yeah, it's just,
No. I mean, some. Like, Eric Anders was a replacement.
Yeah, so short notice. So yeah, so short.
Yeah, he was a short notice replacement.
Yeah,
like probably 3 weeks.
Casey, I was kind of joking about this with you before earlier this week. Like there's almost no fighters that were going into this card coming off of a win. Murata, I think you said Murata was like the only one, and I thought like, oh, probably someone else besides Murata. And I was looking at my notes here.
K. Hansen.
Who else?
Hansen. Brendan Allen.
Correct.
Hansen.
Brendan Allen. Yeah. McKenna as well had won on Contender Series. Strickland, of course. Strickland.
Well, Strickland came in. He was last second too. So I'm talking originally booked.
Booked. Yeah, it's like 4 people. Yeah, because Al Hassan. Khaos as well. So like 4 or 5 fighters on a 20 with 20 fighters who ended up. Oh no, only 18 ended up fighting. But it's not all about wins and losses. But that sends a weird message to fans, doesn't it? Even the main event was 2 guys coming off losses.
These are fight nights. That's how it is. You know, these are free. You ain't paying for this.
Got to keep that train moving.
Yep.
We were supposed to get what other fights were supposed to get? Benitez versus Justin James. We were supposed to get Brian Barberena versus Daniel Rodriguez was supposed to be on this card too. Where Barberena had emergency surgery, so Rodriguez is going to fight next week now instead.
There were eight changes to this card according to Topology. 8 changes, and there only ended up being 9 fights. So,
hey, that's what happens. Like the UFC books 15 fights, and every once in a while we have a 15 fight card. But I think, and that's when this whole pandemic card started happening. I wanted the UFC to be much more lenient on more catch weight fights, more just because of crap like this. Because now we have dudes in the hospital. This is just stupid. It's just stupid.
Strickland Allen was perfect. It was perfect. Of course, 195. Yes. Why is there any? I saw at least 1 or 2 comments popular on me on Twitter like, "Oh, too bad this doesn't really count." Strickland like as a middleweight fight because it was a catch weight. I'm like, why? Why does it not count? It's 2 guys who are middleweights. Who cares? And then someone else said, well, as long as they're not ranked, I guess I don't care. And I'm like, why does it matter? Weight classes are a fugazi. All right, they're fugazi. Okay, I'm sorry. It's. I'm not saying they don't matter.
Whoa. What was that? Say it again.
It's like what's that? Matthew McConaughey, Wolf of Wall Street. Like it's fugazi. But it's. Yes, of course they matter. I'm being overly flippant here. They matter, because if we didn't have weight classes, then we'd have chaos. But as far as like if 2 lightweights want to fight at 160 or 165, it's not going to change things in the long run. It's not that different than if they meet at 155. Especially, I shouldn't say it's not that different. It's literally no different, unless you're worried about these guys, if they're going to contend someday, they have to be able to make 155 on the dot. But that's a whole separate issue. And if you just want to see fights happen and you want to see fighters at their best, people, you should encourage as many catch weights as possible. Please tell Dana White you want more catch weights. Sorry.
Yes. He'll listen to everybody.
He does, especially to us.
He does
in the media.
He does.
Yeah.
He loves on to the next one.
He loves when we suggest things. Obviously, based on some of the matchups.
They love our bantamweight picks.
Damn, a little hat tip would be nice. Little hat tip would be nice, boys, but it's fine.
What else you got?
You guys are lively in the chat for such a lackluster card. They're lively.
Have we talked plenty about RDA? We got RDA, or a lot of RDA stuff.
They all stayed up to watch Crawford box, and they're watching us waiting for a press conference from the UFC probably. That's why the fight. That's why this UFC card ended so quickly because they had an ESPN boxing match.
Oh, that was what happened. Okay, I forgot.
Yeah,
that's pay per view. That's pay per view, right?
It's why. It's why Ortega Zombie ended so early because they wanted to get Lomachenko in there.
Man,
God, I love it. It's so awesome.
Look at MMA still playing second fiddle to boxing.
I think it's an ESPN thing.
Oh yeah,
inferiority complex.
Yeah.
I see some people asking, "Is there a press conference?" I don't think there's a press conference. It doesn't sound like it.
I don't know.
Really?
Could I be wrong?
I'm not there. Unfortunately, I'm not there.
I think Felder's doing post-fight show stuff now, but not a press conference. I think he's doing like ESPN plus.
The loser.
I will text and find out. Whoever loses does it sometimes.
What was that question? Oh, who do you think Islam Makhachev should fight next? From Sam R. We said earlier, just rebook RDA,
right? Is that the fight that makes? Assuming Makhachev is ready to go, in a normal amount of time, say he's normal, he can take another fight in 2 months, which RDA would be good for. Is that do we want to run that back? Is that really the fight to make now, or have we kind of?
So hold on. Quick update. No Dana White. Apparently, probably just RDA. I text someone on the scene. But we don't have the feed. If people are waiting for us to put the feed up, we don't have it.
No,
it's
keep
not
waiting.
gonna happen.
Just keep waiting.
Just chill with us. Chill with us, pretty babies. Just chill with us on here. Come on,
we'll tell you the good stuff.
What did you just say? What did you just say, AK?
I said, chill with us, pretty babies. Chill with us in the chat. We'll take care of you.
You're the man, AK.
Keep going.
Oh, thank you. That's
Keep talking, AK. Keep talking. Tell us to chill.
Islam Makhachev. Be cool, baby. Islam Makhachev. I can't remember what we said last week on our show, Mike, but I think Alexander Hernandez is an option. Like we said, RDA I think is a good option.
Hernandez is the one. I know Hernandez is the one, considering they were supposed to fight in Brooklyn already.
Sure.
I know. I want from your What the Heck interview with Hernandez, he wants one more in before he fights Thiago Moises. I don't think Islam is going to fight before the end of the year, and I have a feeling Hernandez would rather fight Islam Makhachev than Thiago Moises anyway. So I think that would be the fight that I would want to see, considering they were already matched up to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, if Islam if they want to give him a bigger matchup, sure, like Islam deserves it. But if he just goes, forget it, I'll just fight whoever I want to get in there. I haven't fought in more than a year, so be it. But other than that, the RDA fight wouldn't bother me.
He's got so many options right now, though. He's got there's Drew Dober, who needs an opponent. Then you have Diego Ferreira, who is ready to step in and fight RDA. So there's an option. There's Beneil Dariush. There's an option. So he's got top 15 options with guys who don't have fights right now.
Yeah, it sucks that this happened for Makhachev, that he missed out on this fight. A very winnable fight for him, very winnable, high-profile fight. But he's not lacking for options. He'll bounce back.
I don't think the lacking of options is the issue. I think is who is going to accept a fight with him. I think RDA was in a position, since he was at welterweight for so long, that he kind of needed that Makhachev fight to get a main event. But like these other guys, are they going to take? Are they going to? Because to me, he seems like one of the hardest guys to match up with, as far as from the matchmakers. Like a guy like, I'll fight him because it's going to be advantageous to my career if I beat him. But is Islam even ranked? He's like one of the guys that's super good but not ranked, right?
No, I think he's 12, 11.
Okay, but yeah.
And then
Islam Makhachev is 12. The only people below him are Cowboy, Dober, Gillespie, and then Dariush, Kevin Lee, Iaquinta, Ferreira are the only ones above him that don't have a fight matched up. All Charles Oliveira is sitting at 6, and then Felder's at 7.
I think unfortunately for Makhachev, he's gonna have to fight another guy probably behind him. Most likely, just have to get a big win. I think he just, unfortunately, that main event kind of status that he was going to get from the fight isn't going to happen again.
He's in the same position Habib was a few years ago.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just hard. Like he signed 2 contracts to fight for the UFC championship against Eddie Alvarez, and he ends up fighting Michael Johnson. It's hard to matchmake him right now.
Yeah.
Dober is really interesting.
It would. You're gonna have to get someone like. Remember when Benson when he fought Khabilov? He thought he was signing to fight Habib, so he's like, whatever. I just signed to fight Khabilov. And then Dos Anjos asked for Habib. I know there was like the Tulsa, New Mexico cards. I always get them all confused. He's gonna need someone like that. That's just like, I'm not fighting for the title anytime soon, so I'll just fight a big name. And Islam has a big name. Islam is a big name. He's Habib's guy. Habib's obviously going to bring up a lot of eyeballs. He's going to have to get someone that's just like, fuck it, I'll fight him, to get any sort of big name right now.
Oh my goodness, Jose Young's after dark.
Now I have to put the explicit thing on the podcast network. Thanks,
goodness,
great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Kids shouldn't be listening. Kids shouldn't be listening to anything where AK's saying, "Stay with us, pretty babies."
You know what?
You
know what fun I'd really like to see? There's a whole other category for that we need to check off for that talk. I think he's been out with an injury for a while, right? But I'd love to see Islam and Gillespie.
That would be fun.
You have pretty eyes, okay?
Huh?
Kevin Lee would be Kevin Lee. I think Kevin Lee would be a fun fight too, because remember when Kevin Lee was gonna fight when he beat Gillespie backstage case when we were in Madison Square Garden, someone asked him, he goes, would you fight him? when you fight someone brought up fighting Kevin Lee. Fighting Islam to Kevin Lee because Kevin Lee was on this run where he wants to fight everyone in their backyard. Like he's like, I want to fight Gillespie in New York. I want to fight Charles Oliveira in Brazil. And someone goes, would you fight Islam? He goes, would it be in Russia? And they're like, probably not. He goes, nah. I mean, I want that fight, but only in Russia. I think Kevin Lee has been calling Khabib out for so long that he might view it as a way to get his name on. He's not going to fight Khabib, but it's obviously he can piggyback off of Khabib's fans and just act a fool like he normally does. So I bet Kevin Lee Islam could be a possible fight too.
Oh, I was thinking Islam Gillespie.
I love either one.
Oh, okay.
Either one, but Gillespie hasn't fought since getting his head decapitated by Kevin Lee. So if he wants the guy that's above him, Kevin Lee is sitting at 10, Islam sitting at 12. I think that's a fun fight too.
Did they pull Gillespie from the rankings? Has it been that long? Is he just?
I wonder because he was top 10. He was in. Okay.
He's 13.
He wanted the Khabib fight. He wanted the Khabib fight, or at least was working towards the Khabib fight. He's certainly a guy who people said, would be a good stylist matchup for Khabib. That fight obviously is probably never going to happen now. So Islam would really be the next best thing.
Yeah, Kevin Lee's got I think he had like one ACL tear, and then as he was repairing that one, he tore the other ACL, something crazy like that. Board business. Why not Chimaev and Khaos fireworks? We just talked about this kind of.
Yeah, that's come up.
Yeah, we talked. I mean, listen, if for some reason Leon Edwards cannot make it because of the second wave of COVID and he can't get out of the UK and you need somebody to fill in, I don't know if it's like. I mean, Chimaev is the main event. Like Chimaev's the A side of any of these conversations. I mean, just the way that it is right now. So, sure, why not? Is Khaos Williams all hype? I don't think he'll have the star power like Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think he's all. Look at the guys he's beat. I don't think he's all hype at all. I mean, Alex Murata is no joke, and he knocked him out in 27 seconds. And then Abdul Razak Al Hassan is no joke either.
No.
He's a guy who typically finishes his fights in the first round. He knocks out him in 30 seconds.
Remember he did Nico Price?
I think Khaos Williams is really talented, and I think his next fight is going to be the answer we all need. Because let's not forget, Alex Morono did a whole fight camp preparing for Diego Lima before the last minute switcheroo to Khaos Williams, who was making his UFC debut, if I'm not mistaken. So I can't imagine Alex Morono had any sort of time to prepare or get ready, or had any idea that Khaos Williams hit that hard. And then Abdul Razak, was coming off a loss, and he probably just wanted to go in guns, and he goes in guns blazing anyway. He plays right into Khaos Williams' hands. I really think whoever Khaos Williams fights next is going to show if Khaos Williams is the real deal or not. Because right now he looks like the real deal, but like me, I still have questions, which means probably a few other people have questions.
I think to me the issue is Khaos Williams isn't sitting at a table next to Dana White watching fights.
Yeah,
that's all it is. If Dana was just like Khaos Williams, oh my god, I'm gonna get his name tattooed on my forehead. He's so good. If he was treating Khaos the same way he was treating Chimaev, Khamzat, yeah, we would be talking about him. But I don't think Dana has even mentioned his name ever.
He shook his hand at the end, but that's about it.
Yeah, and he said that was one of the most vicious knockouts I've ever seen in my bleeping life. That's what he said to him.
And you come to the press conference and you say that, man.
Someone in the chat says Khaos versus Rachmanov, and I'm like, I really like that fight, but I don't think I don't think it's the time right now.
No, that's like, yeah. And that's even more puzzling because Rachmanov is like, I mean, he submitted Alex Oliveira in the first round. That is more impressive than anything Khamzat Chimaev has done, if we're being honest. Like the Mearshart knockout was just ridiculous. It was laughable. Like you're just like, wow, that is just unbelievable. Like no one could have expected that to happen. But to submit Alex Oliveira, who missed weight in his UFC debut on short notice like that in the first round, that was probably the most impressive win of all of them, if we're being honest here. So no hype for Rachmanov at all. I
wanted to address the Khaos. Sorry guys, I've this whole time I've been looking for a picture of Khaos Williams in the suit he was wearing afterwards, because no, we're talking about star power. Casey, I just sent you a tweet from our good friend Jessica Crystal Crew. Which has a couple of images, so I don't know if we can get that up there at some point. But he looked fresh. He had drip. What do they say when someone's like dressing really? I wouldn't know because I've never done it, but when someone dressed really well, they got that drip, right? So he certainly looked like a star afterwards. He's certainly dressing like a professional, which not a lot of fighters can say they do when they're just two UFC fights into their career.
I just looked up a list.
He looked good.
I looked up this list of welterweights on the ranking MMA site. Khaos Williams is sitting at 44 of like the top 50 welterweights right now. There's a few names around him that I wouldn't mind, actually. I hadn't even thought about it. Like Diego Lima, Lyman Good, Max Griffin. Who else? I literally just saw another name that I would be like, Brian Barberena is sitting right underneath him. So there's a lot of great welterweights. I just don't know if you. But these are all names that are going to test him. And I think for me personally, I have questions about him, just how good he actually is, which means I'm sure other people still do. I think he's awesome. This next fight is going to answer a lot of questions. Randy Brown should be in that conversation too, I think. I think there's a lot of fun fights for him.
Give him Diego Sanchez.
Sure.
Why do you? No.
If Diego's gonna
Absolutely
fight,
not. How dare you?
How dare you? How dare?
Who beat Matt?
He's undefeated.
Matt Brown? Who beat Matt Brown in Jacksonville? Miguel Baeza? Oh man, sign me up, man.
He's fighting.
He's fighting. Oh, that's right. Fun fights though.
And I just gotta say that punch that Williams landed was spectacular. The way he split, like he anticipated that leg kick. Actually, like how do you say his opponent's name?
Al Hassan.
Like he didn't really make any technical errors. Like he just split that guard and just hit him right on the chin. Just an incredible punch. Just an incredible punch. Incredible timing.
What about like Jake? What about Jake Matthews, the guy that beat Diego Sanchez?
Don't mind that.
Yeah.
Don't mind that.
Yeah.
Does the Leech have a fight?
Don't think.
Is he fighting Dwight Grant? Am I imagining that?
He was scheduled to fight Dwight Grant, I believe. Not gonna look
Lee,
this up,
right?
But
Leeches, yeah.
Yeah.
Winner of that. There's a lot of fights for him to take.
Yeah,
sure.
I think Jake Matthews. I wonder would probably want to fight someone with a little more of a name at this point.
I would think so
yeah,
too.
I don't think he should. I don't think he should object to that matchup if it comes along. But he probably wants more of a name. But yeah, I mean, look back to Sandy Pham's original question. No, he's definitely not all hype. Will he have the power of Khamzat? I don't know. I would love to see that fight happen for sure. Because I've been number one on we're pushing Khamzat too fast train. I think everyone knows this, but obviously there's no stopping it now. Like you guys mentioned, he's chummy with Dana White. He's been saying all the right things. He's traveling. He's wheeling and dealing. And now he's got to fight with Leon Edwards. So yeah, there's really no stopping it now. Maybe if he loses that fight, they dial it back somehow. I doubt it. That's just not really how the UFC works. They're not sensible like that. And frankly, Edwards' fight he can win. I don't know if I would pick him, but it's certainly a winnable fight for him. So
our good friend Farah Hanoun is all aboard the Khaos Williams versus Munir Lazez train.
Oh,
I'm about it. I am about it. That's that. If I have to pick, that was my initial answer. Like that's the fight I want to see over all of them. I think it would test both men.
The timing for both guys is completely different. Like Khaos got in on a pay-per-view in front of a capacity crowd in Houston with like, and with space. Cause like, I mean, I think some people knew like this pandemic could create some chaos. Most people didn't buy into it. And then Khamzat jumps on Fight Island in this unique, crazy circumstance and gets a quick finish in dominant fashion. Like if Khaos Williams fought Alex Morano in July on Fight Island, he might be in a totally different position right now. He might have fought 2 weeks later and got another knockout. And then we're talking about Khaos Williams instead. So just, it was a reintroduction, so to speak. But if you're Khaos Williams, you want to get your ass back in that octagon ASAP. Like if something comes up, they call you and say, hey, we got a 170 fight on December 5th or December 12th or December 19th. You best believe you're signing that contract and you're closing out the year in a big way. Like you have to do it. That's why if for some reason Bilal, like if they offer him Bilal, you jump on that thing with both feet. And even if you lose, great. You got some momentum. You're taking a risky fight against a guy who probably should be in the top 15 with Bilal Muhammad. So he needs to get back. He needs to get one more in at the end of the year is what I'm trying to say.
The Bilal fight makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, it's perfect. Bilal needs an opponent. Khaos got some hype. Jump on it. Oh, Jessica. Hi, guys. Okay, so maybe he didn't win, but I told y'all Paul wouldn't get finished. Who said Paul was going to get finished?
Jose and Casey. She told you guys.
Yeah, I said it. I said my exact phrasing was, if there's going to be a finish, it'll probably come in the later rounds, and I would assume Rafael dos Anjos get some sort of arm choke like he normally does, like the Magny and the Kevin Lee thing. My pick wasn't Paul Felder gets finished. I said if there's going to be a finish, this is the most logical path to a finish.
That was still kind of friendly, Jessica. I think she was on Twitter and said she had cracked open an alcoholic beverage, so watch out, be forewarned.
We're getting
That was
some
still
of that.
pretty nice. That was still a pretty nice comment, though.
She at least said hi, guys, first before trying to rip us.
What's up, dog?
But no, Mike and I had both said. Mike and I definitely both said decision. We have the Tapology picks graphic to prove it.
Yeah.
We always flash out as evidence.
I said a poo-poo snooze fest decision win for RDA, so I win.
Oh wow, that one fight of the night, brother. No, I really think that I really thought the McKenna Hansen fight was a little bit better, though it was just really great to see. I mean, Felder's effort was just incredible. You know, it was hard to ignore the storyline, right? If you knew the storyline, it was definitely hard to look past that and not factor that into the action.
Well, how about the fact that the UFC let a 12-year-old fight in McKenna? Oh my god.
She's 21 years old, but my goodness, yeah.
Like in her post-fight interview, I was like, "Good
5 years
lord,
younger?
she looks so young."
Yeah.
McKenna was way better than I thought she was going to be. Like I thought McKenna had a lot of talent, and I thought like it would take her some time to get there. But man, she impressed me tonight. Like she's someone to get really excited about, no doubt about it.
She got in a lot of precarious. She was in a lot of precarious situations that. I know a lot of the narrative with Hansen was like, I'm a veteran in this game at 21. McKenna was in a lot of precarious situations that a lot of people a lot older than her and a lot more experience probably would have fallen to. So yeah, McKenna looked awesome tonight.
Oh yeah, I was way off on McKenna. I called this a showcase fight for Hansen in the preview show. I was like, oh, this is just yeah.
I was going through Twitter and like she was getting in a lot of these like submissions. It's like she was stuck in submissions and all this. Like this grappling stuff, and one of the I can't remember who tweeted. One of the fighters was like, because McKenna trains at Alpha Male with Faber, because Uriah Faber was in her corner.
Right.
He's like, I feel like McKenna has been in all of these situations with everyone at Alpha Male. Like all the chokes are like rear naked chokes and guillotines and all these crazy things. Like, and they're all her size over at Alpha Male. So it's like I feel like she's been in a choke or two in Alpha Male when she's been training.
Okay,
Sure.
An important question that hasn't been brought up. What do we think of Paul Felder's mustache? I hope it stays.
Great.
Phenomenal.
10 out of 10 good. 10 out of 10 good time.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
If I had a mustache,
and that's why he had the
what I'd want.
performance. Yeah, that's why he got the perforance. It just
You know how? Remember?
did McKenna have a mustache? Nope.
No, she's gotta work on that.
Remember when Angela was on? She's like, "Yeah, the afro definitely absorbs some of the damage." I'm just saying.
Mustache has to.
I'm just saying.
He looked like he should have played for the Red Sox in 1987. That's exactly what he
when
looked
everyone was doing cocaine and acid and going out and pitching.
like. Red mustaches everywhere.
Yeah,
man.
actually, yeah. Now that you mention it, yes, he looks exactly like.
Oil Can Boyd just going out there, just seeing things that aren't there and still pitching great games.
Looking like Jody Reed out there.
Shout out to Oil Can Boyd. One time he stole my seat at a Celtics game, and I had to kindly remind him he did not want to hear it.
Wow. Oh, I'm glad somebody brought this up. Thoughts of
I have to
UFC
look at
255 fight card next Saturday. I think it's
I'll be there.
Like Jose will be there. Listen, here's what I want to say, and I think I spoke about this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. I know when you see flyweights at the top of the card, you poo-poo it a little bit. It's not Connor. It's not heavyweights. If you are a fan of the sport, like if this is like the first year you got into it because there's a pandemic and you're looking at this pay-per-view and you're like, oh, I don't know any of these guys. Like, I don't care. You drop the money on this because the matchups are awesome. Like that title fight, Figueiredo versus Perez, is really, really good. Valentina Shevchenko is one of the best fighters in the world, male or female. She should be main eventing this card, if we're being honest.
There you go.
She should be the main event.
Yes.
She's fighting Jennifer Maia. She's probably going to win. She's probably going to do something pretty ridiculous that we're going to be talking about after the fight on the post-fight show. Probably get a million questions about it. Then you have Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig, which is just going to be barrels of fun.
That's a fun fight.
You got Caitlin Chukagian
Rematch.
versus Cynthia Calvillo.
An important
Perry.
fight, a very important fight.
Yeah, Mike Perry and Tim Means. I'll tell you the fight I am most excited about on this entire card. Brandon on Brandon. Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval is outstanding. It is
The loser has
freaking
to
good.
become the loser changes his name to Brendan.
Ooh, wow. Those are high stakes. Those are very high stakes.
That will be that is the best fight on the card, in my opinion.
Joaquin
Moreno versus
Buckley's
Royval.
on this.
Buckley and
Joaquin Buckley. Yeah.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Jordan- against Jordan Wright. Kyle Dawkins is back after that crazy fight with Brendan Allen that he took on like 48 hours notice and almost won. Jared Gooden makes his UFC debut against Alan Jouban, the very handsome Alan Jouban. Nicholas Dalby versus Daniel Rodriguez is on this card. It's a good card.
Daniel
It's a real good card.
Daniel Rodriguez is low-key one of the most intimidating men I've ever met. Like, just how he carries himself and looks, and then you speak to him, and he's like the nicest cat in the world.
Let me tell you guys something.
Antonina versus Ariane Lipsky is on this card.
Violence
That's a fun
queen.
one.
Look, I know they weren't going to bump Shogun Paul Craig from the main card. That's fine. Shogun's a veteran. He deserves it. He's a name. Mike Perry, Tim Means should not be on the main card. They should have bumped that off.
Yep.
Mike Perry shouldn't even be fighting. Okay, screw this guy, first of all. He's a loser. But I would have put the Moreno-Royval fight on the main card. I would have made this a real flyweight showcase, which, again, I know the words flyweight showcase to some fans and probably to some people in the UFC. Probably makes their skin just burn at the thought of it. But we got to get past this weird stereotype that I still see it. Like, flyweights are boring. Some people still think women's strawweights are boring, which, again, we just saw a great fight between two 21-year-olds today. Like, and did we not just have like Joanna Jacek and like Zhang Wei Li? Was that not just the best fight of the year? Like, what are we doing when we're criticizing either women's MMA in general or the flyweight division, which flyweight has to produce the best fights of the year? Like,
People find the weirdest thing. Like, people were complaining about Pitbull winning. Like, people calling Pitbull like MMA fans just need to like realize. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the last like super memorable? And it could be wrong. It could have happened last week, and I could just be forgetting because my memory is terrible. But like super memorable back and forth heavyweight fight. Am I forgetting some like really good back and forth heavyweight fight we had this year?
Don't even talk about tonight's card. What was the most forgettable fight on the whole freaking card?
And
the freaking heavyweight fight. The most forgettable fight. I watched that and I go, you know what? I forgot about it. Let's go on.
And you would never hear someone say, "Oh, we should get rid of heavyweights." You would never hear that, and I wouldn't say it. It's a stupid thing to say. No, I think it's a silly thing to say, and it's just as dumb to say they should get rid of flyweights. Okay, so I'm not speaking to our readers and our viewers right now, because our viewers right now, people who stick with us in these post-fight shows, are usually pretty smart. So you guys, again, I thank you always for watching. I know I'm not yelling at you guys. This is. Tell your friends, tell your less educated friends, tell any Twitter trolls, people on social media you haven't come across that say this crap. You can blame me, okay? You can blame me for this take. But I'm so tired of people thinking heavyweight or light heavyweight is like better than strawweight, men's flyweight. Like, no, that is absurd, okay? And I really wish that the UFC would send a message next week. And yeah, look, I know a lot of people wouldn't buy it, but 4 flyweight fights on the main card. Should have been 4 flyweight fights on the main card.
I wish they would have bumped up Royval. Yes. Or Brandon on Brandon to the main event, or not main event, main card. I wish they would have moved. I wish they would have moved Shogun and Paul Craig to the December 19th and flipped Manel Cave to Pantoja to the main card. So it would have been 3 men's flyweights, 2 women's flyweights, and it would have been an actual flyweight showcase in the as a pay-per-view card. To be fair,
oh boy,
the original plan was Manel Cave versus Askar Askarov. That was. In discussions, it was very close to being done. In fact, I think it was done at one point, but for some reason Askarov couldn't make it, so Cape got bumped back to the Pantoja fight. But I know the Askarov fight was very close to being done on this same card, so it just didn't happen.
Either way, this card does look good. Yeah, bout order aside, this card does look really good.
Yeah,
I will tell you one man who is completely okay with it being on the prelims, Brandon Royval. And Brandon Royval was so fired up and happy about this that he even said, quote, "No one's going to watch the freaking pay-per-view anyway, so me and Moreno technically are the main event." That's what he said. And then he kind of caught himself. He goes, "Because I'm going to get fired now, but buy the pay-per-view. Buy the pay-per-view, please."
Way to sell your own weight division, Mr. Royval.
A lot of guys say
also,
that.
Let's also, just a reminder, I talked about it on A-Side, I believe, or Between the Links, or one of the shows we've done. This is ESPN2 prelims, not ESPN. ESPN2.
Yeah,
so if people can't find it, that's where it is.
Yeah, this ESPN2. If you want to see sweet Brandon on Brandon action, you got to go ESPN2, or I think obviously
and
the whole
ESPN Plus
is also on ESPN.
Or
Plus.
so
but yeah,
I don't like the way you say that, AK.
What sweet Brandon on Brandon action?
Yeah, I love
Lewis.
it. Actually.
Is it the eye contact? Is it because I'm looking right at your eyes when I say it? Is that part of what bothers you?
I don't know. Are we going back to Zoom? Oh God.
Sweet Brandon on Brandon action.
I feel like we should have the saxophone of Careless Whisper in the background if you do that.
We really gonna
It's a
have
good card.
We're
It's
really
a
gonna have to
really
mark
good
off
card.
some of those boxes on the monetization section this time.
It really
It's a
hurt.
fun card.
It really hurt that Garbrandt off the card because they just. I get the casuals needed that name on the guy they've seen before, and unfortunately we know Alex Perez is a badass, but has he been a featured fight ever? Like a guy that,
for Mika was that no, that was a prelim, right?
yeah, like, I can't even remember him being main. He's never been a main or co-main. He's like, yeah.
No,
I mean,
and the UFC's gonna wonder, why are people not interested in him? It's like, showcase him. He was on the main card, January 25th show, ESPN Plus show.
Was that the Blades Dos Santos card?
You are correct, sir.
I think he fought Espinoza, but then everyone else above him, I think, deserved to be above him. 'Cause I think that was Case RDA and Blades JDS. So like, I get it.
But they're not showcasing these guys, and then they wonder why there's no interest in them. Guys, you gotta promote.
like even Maya, no one giving Maya a chance, but Maya got showcased because Maya was in a high profile fight against JoJo Carterwood, so we kind of had this momentum going with Maya. With Perez, it just feels weird.
Looking at Alex Perez fought at UFC 220 on the early Fight Pass prelim, so one of the ones that wasn't on FX at the time or the pay-per-view. He won. He beat Shorty Torres by KO. The other two fighters that won on the early prelims, Zhang Weili and Chito Vera. And look where they are right now.
Crazy. Alex Perez.
Everyone else, and then everyone that won on the prelim card, Alex Perez, I'd still favor above them. Like Pedro Munoz, Ricky Simon, Ricardo Ramos, Shayman Moraes. I would still put Alex Perez higher on the card than those guys right now.
Alex Perez, the first ever Contender Series fighter, contract winner to earn a UFC title fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. That's good. That's
So there
huge.
you go.
That's huge.
I want to ask you guys, what they should be selling. Dana White's like, everyone go look at this. We got crazy contender guy.
That's pretty much all they've been selling. I think that's the only selling point. Really,
who could be the next Alex Perez on this week's episode of Contender Series? A little bit of I'm the Prince of Positivity, but a little bit of skepticism here. Is there any chance that Shevchenko Maya is like an entertaining fight? There's really no nice way for me to ask this question. I don't expect.
Like, you think it's gonna be like the Carmouche fight, the 25 minutes of something?
Boy, maybe not that bad, because I think Maya at least has a specialty with which she can try to sort of impose her will. But I just don't think it's a specialty that she can impose her will on against Shevchenko.
I think it will be an exciting fight. I think it'll be a one-sided whooping.
Okay.
Dude, I know Maya's been in some whatever fights, but she's also been in some really good fights too. Dude, Maya just rolled through JoJo. What was wrong with that? Like, no one's rolled through JoJo like that since maybe Jessica Andrade, and we know how good she is. So I mean, and if, I don't know if you saw it, but Maya versus Porto when she won the Invicta belt was a great 25-minute fight. So when she's in the right matchup, she is very exciting for sure.
That's the thing. I don't think that's our problem. But
she's no different from Valentina in the sense. Valentina has been some crazy fun fights when she wins, but she's been to some super forgettable fights.
Correct. The second Nunez fight as well.
Yeah, So she's very dominant.
It's a good card.
I just want to get Casey fired up.
But listen, and I know she made weight for the Calderwood fight. Jennifer Maya's weight is a story heading into next Saturday's card.
Don't get me excited. You know I love weigh-in drama. Like don't get me started.
They want to bring Lauren Murphy has been discussed to be a potential alternate.
Is that
I know that there's been conversation between the two. I don't know. I don't know. I know there's conversation between the two. But she should be ready. I mean, you do have Calvillo and you do have Chikagian, but I think Murphy is ahead of both of them right now in terms of like who would get the shot. Murphy would probably take it too, but you'll hear more about that tomorrow on MMAfighting.com when that interview drops solo.
Ooh.
Do we have anything else?
What do we got?
I think we're good, gentlemen. I think we're good. We've gone hour and 25 minutes.
My goodness.
Yeah,
Everyone who sticks around. You guys are the best. I don't care if I sound like a broken record, and I say this every time I do one of these post-fight shows. You guys are the friggin' best. I love you guys.
He dropped the FR dash word at the end. Dropped a friggin'. Sound like you're from Massachusetts, kid.
Oh, I know. Again, look, whoever's
Sounds
doing
like
the monetization for this video.
Sound like Philip Rivers.
Man.
You guys are talking sports. I'm lost actually.
Yeah, no one has any idea what's going on right now.
Alex, you know who Philip Rivers is?
Of course. He was the quarterback for the Chargers. He still is? No.
No, he's on the Indianapolis Colts now. He moved closer to you. Yeah.
Goodness me.
Okay.
If you need to throw a ball 30 yards, he's not your guy. But if you need a quick check down to a running back or a tight end for 3 yards, Philip Rivers is your guy.
Hall of Famer. Phil Rivers.
100%. I'm not going to argue that. 100% he is.
I've heard some people say maybe this maybe
Well, those people are stupid. Look who's in the NFL Hall of Fame. Anyone can make it.
Well, I mean the numbers. Okay. Anyway, sorry, Mike Rainison.
Wow.
Wait, what the heck?
Is there still a San Diego Chargers? Are they still a team?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
they're the LA Chargers.
Oh, LA.
sorry.
I live in LA. I had no idea. This is news. Wait, I thought the Rams.
Casey,
wait, are the Rams a team?
Casey, not only
Yes,
are they
there's two LA
in
teams.
Casey, they're not in LA.
What?
They're in Inglewood.
Right. I can see it. I'm like, what? Oh, there they are.
Look out your window. They're playing a game right now.
They are.
They're right there.
They're sharing the stadium with the Rams.
I had no clue. I just thought there was a bunch of traffic outside for no reason. All right, this is all.
Small world. Small world.
You know
The
the-
town you live in has a
Did you
football
know?
team.
Did you know the Raiders are in Las Vegas now?
Why?
What?
What do you mean? Like,
Because they moved there.
are they?
They moved.
They're the Las
They built
Vegas
a new
Raiders. That's
stadium.
why they built. That's why they built.
Oh,
Allegiant Stadium.
that big turdy golden turd thing. Yeah, on the side of the
No,
freeway.
no. The golden turd is the T-Mobile Arena. Allegiant Stadium is the big black one.
Ah,
It looks
big-
awesome. It actually
Okay.
looks really cool.
We have a comment, which I have to acknowledge. And this is going to start another half an hour discussion, by the way. Jeremiah K, professional chess better than the NFL. Shout out to the Queen's Gambit and your Taylor.
Woo!
What a show! That.
Hey, I still got a couple episodes to watch.
I'm
No
not
spoilers.
spoiling
No
nothing. I'm not
spoilers.
spoiling that.
No
I'm just saying,
spoilers.
y'all, I'm not saying it's my favorite show. It is a really good show, and anyone who has Netflix, there's no reason not to watch it. Is what I'm saying. Check that out. The Queen's Gambit. If you love chess, which like Jeremiah K in our comments, then go for it.
See that chessboard back there? If any of you YouTube commenters want to challenge me, I got a board right there. We'll play. Don't come over here. I'm just joking. You don't know where I live.
Before we sign off, fun facts. My younger brother Miguel, is a ranked chess player in New England. He's unbelievable.
I can end this on an MMA note. Wait, your brother's a ranked chess player?
In New England, yeah. He
pretty
travels to other states to play chess.
In
gets
New
money
England.
for it.
Oh,
Yeah, and, like, gets money
it's
for
not-
it.
it's
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
It's not exactly a brain trust out there, so I mean that can't be that hard.
Yeah,
So
the birthplace of America.
How dare you?
that explains a lot.
Yeah. How's that
Did
turning
you
out?
see- MMA talk, guys. MMA show. Come on.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you see
MMA.
Did you see Angela Hill's connection to the show?
Tell me more.
You didn't see this, Angela Hill. So Angela Hill. So there's two twins on the show. One of the brother. One of the actors who plays one of the brothers used to train at the same gym as Angela Hill. I think actually he knew her before she became a pro, and she said on Twitter that actually he was someone who encouraged her to go into professional MMA. So if you watch, so there is an MMA connection to the Queen's Gambit. Apparently, one of the actors is a friend of Angela Hill's, and it was a part of her career. There you go.
And my connection to chess is I joined the chess club in high school because I needed an extracurricular activity because that's what my high school counselor told me if I want to go to college.
And look how you turned out.
And now you're here in a virtual room with us and all of these people. Paid off for you, sir. Your chess skills led to greatness, and here we are. And there's the music. Oh, by the way, for those who want to,
they're playing us off.
for those who want to hear more from Khaos Williams, you'll be able to hear from him on Thursday. On What the Heck, he'll be there, along with a couple of former UFC world champs as well. So the lineup is loading up in a fun and exciting way. So get ready for that. As UFC Vegas 14 in the books for now, we'll be talking more about it on Between the Links. Of course, on to the next one, which will probably drop in podcast form tomorrow. We're going to get those out early for all you wonderful folks. But that's it for Casey, AK, Jose. I am Mike Heck. Good night, everybody.
AK, wave, AK. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like it. That's good.
Brandon on Brandon.
Freak.